Hey, Robert.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Media, we got Robert Quinn with us. Jason Leisure, go ahead.
Robert, how did you guys digest the last 24 hours coming off, the way you played defensively last night?
I mean, at the end of the day, we got to be honest with ourselves. We didn't win the game. Um, so that at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. We could have played a lot better, kept some points off the board. I'm sitting there thinking back, that the touchdown they scored right before halftime was crucial. So, we can't, to be a great defense, we can't give up plays like that. Even though the caliber of offense we was facing, to be a great defense, we can't give up stuff like that.
Pat Finley.
Robert, Akeem was saying that yesterday that he thought that your rush plan was actually pretty good and that it was pretty well executed, and Brees was just really smart about getting the ball out of there. How do you judge a pass rush that didn't have a sack the day after?
Well, like you said, if he got to make his quick check downs, for 3-yard gains and stuff like that, that's a good down for us. Sometimes, we can, of course, let's be honest, we get stuck on getting sacks, but, pressures and, PBUs, whatever it takes to get off the field, that means we're doing a great job. Sometimes the numbers may not show, but I guess the effectiveness can still be, caused on the game. But but again, as I'm sure as we all have that personal pride, we want to see, more production out of all of us.
JJ.
Robert, kind of following up on that, how do you balance, feeling like you want to get those sacks versus going back and watching the film and trying to pick out where you did affect the quarterback? It maybe doesn't show up in the box score, but plays where you affected the pocket and led to, a drive ending or something like that.
I guess, as far as pressures or hits, you can see how you could have maybe beat the O-lineman quicker or whatever. And on the rushes that didn't work, you should be even harder on yourself on why they didn't work, regardless if it's 1, 2, or 3 man blocking you, you still got to figure out a way to win. So, I know I do for myself, I'm real, I guess, critical and, kind of hard upon myself, again, wanting to be perfect. But it's just, I keep saying that word, that pride thing. I'm sure this locker room has, but we just want to be the best we can be.
Hub.
Robert, now that we're a few weeks in, how do you feel, if at all, this different scheme, slightly different position is affecting you in run responsibilities? How do you feel that's going? And if it is at all, do you feel that it's impacting your pass rush at all?
No, it's just getting into, I guess, the swing of things. Get momentum, while I'm out there, whatever play call, got to make, be productive, be effective. Then, when I do get my chances to rush the passer, I got to take advantage. So at the end of the day, know what they brought me in here for. Just trying to get the job done as best as I can. And like I said, at the end of the day, we're just trying to win games, no matter how it's done or who's out there. We're just trying to win games as the Bears.
Do you feel completely comfortable in it, though? When you're out there, maybe you're thinking, I got to get to the quarterback. And you see it's a run play. Is the switch flipping for you right away? Is it slowed down for you enough?
No, it's pretty much slowed down. Again, like I said, I want to be that perfectionist, so I want to kind of know what everyone's doing so I can do my job even better. But I think I know my job pretty well. To get that done. But like I said, that perfectionist part, if I can figure out understand what everyone else is doing, I think that can help you be so much more of a better player.
Kevin Fishbane.
Hey, Robert, I'm curious with your current playing time. You know, Ted Monachino talked about this is where you're at to get the most out of you. Are you comfortable where you're at playing time? Do you think you could get some more and still be as productive, or is this kind of a good sweet spot for you?
I mean, it's from the start. They've been kind of monitoring my snaps, and it's been working. So I mean, I'm not going to get down on ourselves because we had a rough week. But at the end of the day, like I said, I know I haven't had the production, but the pressures and hits been there, and that's affecting the game. But overall, I know I'm sounding like beating a dead horse, but the job is just to win. And like I said, we had this week was pretty rough. Even though we had a great opportunity to still win it, we just didn't get it done. So an opportunity, Knox. We'll be ready for it.
Cam Ellis.
Robert, in your experience, when a guy on your team gets in a fight in a game, is that something that is dealt with within the players in the locker room, or do you guys sort of leave that to the coaching staff to deal with it after the game?
Well, there's nothing we can really do about it as players. I mean, we can talk to them and try to understand, but I mean, we're not the head coach, so we can't. I mean, and then plus the NFL has their own disciplinary action. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to make sure our teammates doing all right. And that's not teammate, our brother. And at the end of the day, I didn't know what personally went on. But at the end of the day, you protect your brother no matter what. And we figured it out after that. But in the moments like those, you just protect your brother, and we'll handle the rest after that.
Couple more for Robert. Dan Wiederer.
Robert, you guys have lost 3 of 5 now. It seems like there's a frustrating pattern of the way these games have gone over the last month plus. How do you describe the level of urgency that you feel within the locker room now, and the level of, I guess, honesty within yourselves to acknowledge where the shortcomings are right now?
Well, there's always been a sense of urgency, knowing each week is important. Each game is so critical. You don't know which game is going to be the determining game, to get you in the playoffs or, to miss it. So, each game is important week in and week out. But like think you just kind of said, it's definitely to a point, we can't, as I mentioned earlier, like the critical touchdown, the defense we gave up, right before halftime. Like we can't do stuff like that. So we have to be honest with ourselves, if we want to take that next step of, greatness that we, keep talking about. So, I can't talk about the offense. I don't play it, and I don't play a whole lot of special teams. So I can only talk about what I really do. So, offense objective is to score points, ours is to keep it off the board. If we did a better job keeping points off the board, then we talking about a different story here.
Last one, Stacey Dales.
Hey, Robert. Coach Nagy sent last night that he needs to rely upon the leaders right now, given the back-to-back losses, to step up within the team. How does that manifest on a Monday after a game like that? And do you have the proverbial players only meeting? How have you guys come together collectively to entice that leadership?
Well, I know one of my models is I'd say you got to look yourself in the mirror first, and be completely honest with yourself before you try to go have a conversation with someone else. So, I always start by looking myself in the mirror and realize how good I might have played or how terrible I might have played, or, wherever in between I might have played. And I always start with myself. But as men in this locker room, we got to be able to critique ourselves, very critically and not get offended by that, because we all just want to see each other succeed anyway. So, I think that's just the same approach we're going to take. We're just brothers trying to make each other better and, build from there and have a little fun, not get discouraged by a little mishaps, little shortcomings these past couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Next up will be Darnell Mooney. Hey, Darnell.
Hey there.
We have Darnell Mooney with us, media. Dan Wiederer, go ahead.
Hey, Darnell, how's it going?
Going good.
Good. On the 50-yard reception in the first quarter yesterday, I was curious what the key to getting the release there was for you.
You're talking about my release on the
Right, on the 50-yarder, just getting past the corner there, right off the line.
I know that him and Marshawn, they like the vary of letting you go outside and just pushing you to the sideline. So I took advantage of that and then gave him something outside. He went for it, and I took my release inside
And
speed.
and then on the touchdown catch in the fourth quarter, obviously a pretty basic route there, but what's the key to being precise and well-timed with the clutter that's there on the right side?
I mean, I knew it was going to be a touchdown. It's just me being patient and just letting the play happen instead of rushing it and letting Nick throw a good ball.
Pat Finley.
Coach Nagy said last night how frustrated he was with another lackluster third quarter performance. Can you guys put a finger on why you guys haven't been able to get it going coming out of halftime?
I can't put a finger on it. I haven't watched the film. Usually I watch the film after the game. I just took it in last night, rested, and I'm gonna check out the film today and see what happened.
I mean, all season long, I think you guys have one touchdown in the third quarter all year.
I haven't realized that. I mean, I haven't recognized it, but like I said, hopefully we can figure it out and see what went wrong and try to be positive and go forward throughout the season.
Mark Grody.
Hi, Darnell. You were talking about how you got open on the 50-yard play. Do you enjoy that part of the game, the gamesmanship part, the part where you're using your brain and getting to know these cornerbacks and figuring out how to get open and learning tendencies? Do you like that part of it?
Yes, for sure. More so like in college, I didn't have the time to like take out the film and learning the guys of what they have to do. Now I have the opportunity to just do it all the time. Whenever I leave here, I can continue to watch film. That way I don't have to go out there and get a feel for what they're doing. Instead, I can just watch film and see what they're doing.
Chris Emma.
Darnell, have you spoken with Javon Wims, or has he spoken to you guys as teammates?
I haven't spoken to him yet, but I mean, I know he's a good guy. I know throughout his mind, I mean, whatever happened in the game, I mean, it was probably an emotional game, but I mean, I love him. For whatever happens throughout this time, hopefully it's a positive act and we can figure out what went on in that situation, and we can move forward.
What was your reaction in the moment? Were you surprised, or were you caught off guard with that?
I mean, yeah, I turned around. It was a lot of hostile things going on, but like I said, it's an emotional game. No one knows what happened at that time besides those two. But like I said, hopefully we can move forward and keep going.
Steve Leventhal.
Yeah, Darnell, season's almost halfway done, regular season. I just wanted your reflections on what you think you've been able to achieve, your comfort level so far this season.
I mean, I've been able to be a playmaker for us. Not as much as I've wanted to, but like you said, the season is getting close to the end. But we have a lot more games left, a lot of big games as well, a lot of division games coming up, and we have to win those as well as like the non-division games. But hopefully I can continue to be more of a playmaker and make sure we can get the dub.
Thanks for your time this morning, Darnell.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, Cairo. Hey, hey, Cairo.
Good morning.
Media, we got Cairo Santos with us. Colleen Kane, go ahead.
Hey, Cairo. How would you describe the conditions yesterday, and what was it like kind of trying to figure out the wind in the pregame process?
Yeah, it was tough. When it gusted, it got challenging. You could see the ball moving clearly, and sometimes it would go both ways. You just hit a ball down the middle and you would swipe left, swipe right. And I talked to Tabor, just kind of all you can do at that point is just hit a good ball and just trust that you've done your job. And if the wind takes it, yes, you're mad that you missed a kick, but it's, sometimes you just can't control in those situations. And as the game, I thought as the game went on, it started to die, and then it wasn't gusting as much, so it stayed more constant and manageable. But it was tough. It was challenging for sure.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Carol, how do you feel about the last second timeout that forces you to kick a second time, especially on a 51-yarder? And have you ever made the first one and missed the real one?
No, I've never had that happen. I've had to call a timeout before, and I got to see the kick, and I've made it every time. I think it helps you, especially when it was that windy, and I felt that the wind had died down, so all I was concerned is if I had the range, because with the wind, 52, 53, that direction max was my pregame range. So I knew it was stretching it if it was really windy, but since it died down, I got a chance to see the first one go in pretty well. I knew I could repeat it, and luckily got the chance to do that. But I think it helps when the team does that. If I would call a timeout, I'd call it before the kicker got a chance to kick it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Finley.
Can you think of other games you've played in that have had conditions that bad to kick in?
No, I don't think so. I think that was wind-wise was the toughest. There's been colder games, and I think it was challenging, more challenging because the ball wasn't carrying. But wind-wise, there's a couple that got close, but with the gust yesterday, it made it really challenging. I think it was the top one in my career.
What does that do for your confidence that you can handle this Soldier Field thing?
It gives me a lot of confidence because you have a good game in those conditions, but at the same time, I know I got lucky that the wind died down. So if you had blown like it did sometimes at pregame, it could have been a tougher challenge and a tougher game plan too, where I'll be aiming and stuff. So I'll leave it as I got lucky too, and handle it well as well.
Dan Wiederer.
Cairo, where were you playing that 51-yard kick when you went out for it? And were you aware of the confusion about the ball between the two kicks? The ref left his mic on and seemed like he was scrambling to get you guys the right ball for that one.
No, I wasn't aware of that. It's the first time I'm hearing, but I'm glad that they did that because it is a concern. Like, if a team calls a timeout early in my operation, I'm not going to try to force to kick that number one ball because we could not get it back, and those are usually our best balls. But their timeout came so late that I didn't have a chance to slow down and not kick it. So I kicked it, and I did think about it. I was like, I hope we get that ball back, but I didn't ask Scales to check or anything. So I'm glad that the referees are making an effort to get that ball back because it's important to us. And I was just playing it down the middle. Because like I said, it just died down. I knew it just had to hit a clean ball, and it wasn't going to move. So I just aimed right down the middle.
Mark Grody.
Carl, how excited was the excitable Chris Tabor after that kick, and then into the night even?
He gets really fired up, like as I'm after the kickoff, like when I come in, he's got a chance to give me a high five, because right after the field goal, he's moved on to kick off already and giving the guys the look and stuff. But he leaves me alone, like pretty much throughout the game, through like, makes or misses. Like we talk a lot after the game, but during it, he gives me like a quick 2 seconds of his fired up emotions, and then we move on because we know we still have a game left to play.
Larry Mayer.
You really established yourself when you came into the league with the Chiefs, and then the last couple of years with the injuries. Did you ever doubt that you'd be able to get to the point back to where you were with the Chiefs in terms of solidifying a job in the NFL and being a consistent kicker?
I think in terms of like health-wise, I had doubts just because how long it was taking for me to get to full strength, to a full health. Sometimes I doubted if I could get to where I finally got there today. But confidence-wise, that I could kick the same and all that, I can never always believe in myself, that I could kick as well as I'm kicking now and once kicked in my prime. But just the health-wise, that it took me way longer than I had ever heard of. But it's just part of the process.
How satisfying is it that you are actually performing at this high of a level right now?
It's awesome. It's still a dream to play in the NFL. And, even though I've done it for 7 seasons now, it doesn't get old. It's always one year after another is trying to prove yourself. And I love to compete. So it's last couple of years, I feel like I've just had to compete against myself because, trying to establish myself again. So that's kind of what I'm just most satisfied is getting to where I've been trying to get for the last couple of years and, dealing with everything. But I know there's still, every game's another challenge. So I got to, keep attacking with the same focus mentality because I still want to keep playing here for a long time.
2 more for Cairo. Steve Leventhal.
So question for us non-kickers that perhaps you can explain, and then I have another question. But when the wind is blowing like that, is there any advantage to a low trajectory, a high trajectory? How much does that come into play? So that's question number 1. And then question number 2 is, do you still follow any of the Brazilian soccer stars playing around the world?
I think it's more about the contact that you make with the ball. Like when you get a ball spinning, like RPMs of the ball, like spinning really fast, it cuts better. And so sometimes I think a high kick stays straighter, but maybe not, you can't get as much distance. And sometimes I feel like a low kick goes farther, but it can hook and fade easier. So it all depends on the strike of the ball. So that's kind of the number 1, just focusing on the sweet spot and just, I don't try to manipulate much of the trajectory, just the sweet spot. And sometimes you just catch a little high on the ball, a little low, that makes it go high. But the RPMs, you got to spin the ball really fast to cut through winds. And yeah, I love soccer still. I would say number 1 passion to watch. I feel like I watch football just to watch kicks, the kickers that I follow. But in soccer, I actually enjoy watching the game and, keeping up with the Brazilian players. I've got a chance to meet a couple of them. We went to London. So with Chelsea, I'm a Chelsea fan. So got a chance to meet Neymar a couple years ago at his foundation's auction. So it's still, like I said, I play FIFAs too, and I'm always signing the Brazilian players to my FIFA team. And it's still my number 1 passion, so I keep up with all that.
Last one, Dan.
Cairo, you told us a couple weeks ago that you felt like you were psychologically in a groove again. Can you describe kind of where that's at right now? And then also anything to heading back to Nashville this week?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you're in the groove, you just react, you don't think. So we just kind of, we have the routine set, for the week. We'll kick Wednesdays and Fridays, and I do my preparation all the same. So it feels like I'm walking the same path week after week. And and that way you just get more comfortable. So that's kind of what it feels like. So I feel like I'm thinking less and just trusting the process more, and things are aligning well. So I'm just focusing on the process from now on. And now Nashville, I thought it was a great place to kick. You know, it's a familiar stadium that I had in Tampa. I think it's the same design. So kind of it's good grass and everything. So it's got some family coming to that game because they find all the fans. So it's going to be, I think, a good atmosphere to kick in, and something that I'm familiar with.
Thanks for your time, Cairo.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have Coach Nagy down here in about 5 minutes. Hey, Coach.
Hey, Eric. How are you?
Good. Ready when you are.
Okay. Just going back and being able to watch the game in general. I think that, situationally there was some good, there was also some bad, and then just overall, you always want to be able to coach off the win. Like I said last night, I thought offensively there were spurts where we were better. We took some shots. We were available. We were able to take advantage of some of them and make them happen. But then there was also, that third quarter deal there, that whole, was getting into backing ourselves up and getting into a hole, and we just lost that field position. I thought that really hurt us there. Being able to come back, get stops when we needed to, and then score when we needed to push that game into overtime with Cairo making that kick was great. And then again, not being able to finish them in overtime once we got the ball back. I would like to see us improve in that area. So that's what we'll do. We got the players in here today because they're off tomorrow. So we're getting ready to go through the tape with them and teach that and figure out ways that we can get better.
Dan Wiederer.
Matt, have you had an opportunity to speak with Javon today, and do you have any more clarity on what it was that set him off to that extent?
Yeah, I did. I did talk to him today. Again, obviously out of respect, I'm going to keep that between us and internally. But we did talk to him. I did talk to him, and just regardless of what went on, he knows and understands. He was apologetic and knows that that no matter what, you can't do what he did.
How do you handle internal discipline versus sort of also waiting for potential league discipline?
Yeah, I really don't know that answer yet. We'll get through that and figure out how that works. I haven't been through that before, so it's kind of new to me. So we'll just wait and see where that's at and collaborate together as an organization and figure out what's next.
Adam Johns.
Hey, Matt, during the game yesterday, Zach Miller, your former tight end, shared a post on Twitter, which was obvious support for Mitch Trubisky coming in the game. I'm not going to ask you if you thought about that, but when you have a situation like this in your locker room where you have a QB change and the QB that's come in is not playing as well as expected, how do you handle that amongst the players? Like, how do you prevent your current players from maybe thinking the same as Zach Miller right now?
Well, I love Zach. Zach's one, even though I wish I would have got to coach Zach. I think he would have done great in this offense. Just the way he is and who he is as a person. And also, Zach is friends with Mitch. And I think that's awesome. I didn't see the tweet. I don't know anything about that, but I think we all understand that, we as a team, we watch tape, we watch video, and we do what's best we make the best decision based off of how we do as a team, not just one position. And so that's what we do. I appreciate everybody's opinions and thoughts, suggestions, but I think that there's a lot more to it right now than that.
Mark Potash.
Hey, Matt, how concerned are you with Nick's struggle to get into a groove 5 games in, or the offensive struggle to get, to get into a groove with him at quarterback after 5 games? And also, I was curious, the mobility that you lose with Nick from Mitch, are you paying a bigger price for that than anticipated? In other words, the sacks yesterday, are those sacks that Nick took that maybe Mitch would have avoided?
No, I would say this to you, Mark. I would say there was 1 sack out of, what was there, 5?
Yeah.
There was 1 sack, and it was the last sack of the game that he could have threw the ball away. The other ones, I would not put that I would not put that on him. I think there's different reasons, and that's just, where we're at. We understand that. And, we got to be able to have honest evaluations through all that. And again, they have a good defensive front. They did some good things there. And we're trying to, we have different pieces. The one, we had some luxury there early on in the season with consistency in the offensive line. And now what you're seeing is some guys get injured, and it's new pieces, it's new voices, it's new. And so unfortunately we're seeing some of that go on, and guys are battling through stuff. And so I just think that for us, we got to make sure that we look at the whole big picture with this. And to answer your question, I would say the last one, I know that Nick would rather throw that ball away.
but just in general, as far as the Knicks, it was thought that he would, even if he struggled early, he would get in a groove as he got more comfortable with his team. That doesn't seem to be happening at least as quickly as you thought. Are you concerned about that after 5 games?
Well, I would go back to the entire offense. There's 11 people involved, and then there's coaching involved as well. And so we know what we see on tape. I'll say that. We know what we see on tape, and we're able to evaluate what we see. And that's our job, is to watch what we see as coaches on tape. And then we evaluate what we see on tape and then make judges off of that.
JJ?
Matt, you got Cole involved a little more yesterday with the offense, but he only had that one target. When you went back and watched it, were there opportunities left out there for him, or was it a product of the game plan and the assignments on those throws?
No, I would say, yeah, we got him a little bit more involved yesterday. Again, each day you're going to see probably more and more of him. He's doing a good job. And sometimes you'll have games like that where you have more targets, and in other games you won't have as many based off of what they see with you as a player. So, or us as an offense. So I would love to see his arrow continue to go up, and I think it will.
Colleen Kane?
Hey, Matt, last night when you were talking about the delay of game penalty, you referenced Nick looking at his wristband. Can you explain your frustration with that a little bit more? Was it specific to that instance, or is it pointing to a larger issue?
No, we have a wristband. Actually, the headset went out last night, a couple series after that. And we have the wristband for different reasons, whether it's, certain hashes that we're on that makes the play, easy to call, or if it's a unique formation or something. But we also have other plays on there that are very simple. And that just happened to be a play right there where we used the wristband for the call. And, there was reasons for it, which I'm not going to get into.
Jason Leisure?
Matt, you cautioned us from the beginning about making too much of your history with Foles, because you guys had only been together 1 year. You hadn't called plays for him. Are you guys still with that issue yesterday, the delay game? You had the delay game coming out of the timeout in Carolina. Are you and him still working through some things and establishing cohesion and communication?
Yeah. So, it's what happens is, from the outside world, watching things, it can reflect that, and then, it can look like there's a communication issue and all that stuff. But I think for us, where we're at communication wise, when it comes to X's and O's, when it comes to calls we like and don't like, that's kind of a separate issue. This one is more, I think, this is more in the play, in the moment, just being able to get lined up in a certain position, get to a certain spot. And so I think that's where we want to make sure that, hey, all 11 players, Nick included, all the coaching staff, when we're running these plays in practice, are we repping these plays to where they know where to line up and how to line up? And then we roll with it. And yesterday was unfortunate. What's happened is there's been, I've told you this too, is because of those happening the first time, what you do as a staff and as coaches is you say, well, this can't happen anymore. So we got to fix this, and we got to change the way we're doing this. And, we're doing that. And unfortunately, I probably could have called a timeout there to save 5 yards. I think that's something that you go back and forth on. It's more of a philosophical view. I generally tend to and we do too, like to hold on to the timeouts in the second half, because they can be so valuable at the end of the game, especially when it's a close game. So it's unfortunate because, you know that probably shouldn't have happened yesterday on third.
What did you want him to do there? As things were clearly not working and Charles Leno is yelling at him to hurry up, you want Nick to call timeout? You want him just to snap it and try to figure something out, or what?
No, I wanted him to, what he did was fine in that situation. Just take the delay game. It's my decision to call timeout or not. So what he did was totally fine. And we talked through that kind of stuff. Now, if that was in the first half, I would have called a timeout, So I think that's where it's like, okay, second half, you look back and you say, did you need that timeout at the end of the game, or did you not? What's unfortunate is, that I know our guys probably want to be able to execute that play.
Pat Finley?
Matt, you guys lead the league in penalties. And, yesterday you had a receiver throwing punches at people. How did you get to the point where being disciplined has been a problem? Because it wasn't a problem your first 2 years.
Sure. No, I think that's something that you have to understand as a head coach, no matter of the why part, right? That's the simple fact. The fact of the matter is that, like you said, if we are leading the league in penalties, and then you have something like that happens yesterday, especially, you never want that to happen ever from nobody on your team. And it's an emotional game and people can get into it. But again, just knowing who Javon Wims is as a person and a high character guy, that's the part that I thought was surprising. So yeah, I mean, until it gets changed, I have to be able to accept responsibility for it. And I have to be able to focus on the why part. And I need to hold myself and the coaching staff accountable because we're the ones that basically are the conduit to the players on how they're acting on game day, So until it stops, I got to take full responsibility for it.
2 more for Coach. Kevin Fishban.
Hey, Matt, what was your assessment of the sequence at the end of the first half after you called the timeout and then eventually they scored the touchdown? And I'm curious, after talking to Chuck, did you get a sense of kind of what the breakdowns were for you guys?
Yeah, so it was 3rd and 13. They had just got to a point where I knew that if it was going to be 3rd and short or 3rd and medium, I was not going to call timeout. But once they got backed up and we had a little bit of field position with where they were, I thought it was good. It was aggressive too, knowing that we're going to get the ball in the 3rd quarter. Let's get the ball one more time, try to go down, steal a field goal, and then get the ball at 3rd quarter. We got them to 3rd and 13, and they threw this screen to Kamara, and we were in drop 8, and so we have 8 defenders for a screen, and they made a good play. He made a good run, got it to that 4th and 1. And which makes it a lot easier as a play caller to go for it. And they ended up getting that first and getting out of bounds. So, once that happens and you get to 4th and 1, you're always wishing that you didn't call the timeout. So, I thought that was a turning point as well.
Last one for Coach. Jeff Dickerson.
Hey, man, you touched on the offensive line a little earlier. I mean, you lose Daniels, you lose Cody. Now Massey's hurt. There was even a play when Spriggs had to go out yesterday for a second. You had to jumble more things around. Just grand scheme of things, how much is that lack of continuity up front maybe complicating just overall what you guys are trying to accomplish offensively?
Yeah, again, I would say this is whether it's the offense or the defense, a lot of things start up front. And they know that. The players know it. Our coaches know it. And when you have a little bit of a lack of consistency, and I'm talking more health-wise, like you got different guys up there on that front line, it can become more difficult. And, we got guys that there's some guys in there that don't have a whole lot of experience. Now there's others that do, and trying to find out, okay, how do we play well together, and how do we protect and scout protection when there's only 5 of us, and are we making the right calls? And, yesterday you had Sam Mustipher in there playing center, and I thought he did a really good job for the most part of making calls and being a leader in that huddle. So, but that's his first game he's ever started, right? You got a left guard and Rashad Coward that was a defensive tackle 3 years ago. So they're learning here, and we know that. But at the same time, we hold them accountable. We hold our coaches accountable that it does start there. So whether it's in the run game or whether it's in pass pro, if it gets leaky at all, or there's any leakage, meaning that guys are coming through and the timing's not right, it can be hard. It can be, hard. But I will say this. Yesterday, I thought there was an improvement with the run game in particular, with being able to get some more runs that were 5 and 6. And we had that one run on 3rd and 1, but the run game felt better yesterday. So as much as it stings to lose the game, I do feel like that part was a little bit better. It's not where we want it to be, but it was better.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
That's going to do it for media availability today. Thank you for joining us.